Hello, welcome again. Thank you so much for being there. It's good to know that you're there. Now, today we'll be wrapping up on magnesium. Now, we've already started with the historical perspective of it, how it was discovered, and then electrolytically get to be known. By the 21st century, it was then seen the usefulness in nutrition. Please never mind my voice. And then also the sources of magnesium being from dietary products of meat, cheese, and milk, and other forms of milk products, and also from the tissues, the flesh. And we've also looked at the absorption of it, in which case it happens mainly in the small intestine. We've also looked at metabolism of it, and then functions, how it's good in protein synthesis and also energy metabolization. Now, the deficiency symptoms are what we'll be looking at today. The deficiency symptoms simply refers to what happens when the magnesium is not available or not available in large quantity, or enough quantity, sorry for saying large, in enough quantity in the body. We've said this over that most times nutrients or some other body fluid have a range in which they should occur, not particular figure or particular, usually range. Now, when it's not in that certain range for the animal or human, it's called hypomagnesemia. Hypomagnesemia. I've talked about how you get to know scientific terms by breaking them down. More often than not, you have the names from Latin or some other languages, especially Latin, and then if you're able to break them down, you'll be able to know the meaning. Now, if you look at this, I've said that hypo will mean less, in which case the opposite is hyper. Hyper means more than required. Magnesium for magnesium. Magnesium. That is, this is low, and this is low magnesium. Amia will refer to blood. So if you see terms like this, you can put it together to mean low magnesium in the blood. Very simple. How to know scientific terms. You can try your hands on several scientific terms. Now let's go ahead. Low magnesium in the blood. What are the causes? Usually poor intake of magnesium. When animal is fed or human being feed on nutrients or food items that are low in this. Usually, it's not always common with free persons, except with people who find themselves in certain places of confinement, prisons, or places where they are not well taken care of, maybe in the desert or so. And what they are just what they eat, it's not enough to give them the required nutrients. You have things like this. And then, another thing that causes it is alcoholism. Alcoholism is actually huge. Now, how does alcoholism affect it? It's actually huge. Now, let's start with this. Now, we will look at it in terms of intake of alcohol, and then the digestion, or whatever you call digestion or absorption. Either let me put it digestion or absorption, and then urination or expelling it or excretion of it. All this part even more affects availability of not just magnesium but other nutrients too. Now let's look at it. Alcoholism, intake of alcohol. Alcohol has calorie. The calorie is not as nutritious as what you get from certain food items. So the alcohol's calorie take the place or displaces nutritious calorie in the body. The nutritious calorie has magnesium and other nutrients bound to them. So when you take calorie from alcohol, they displace this one. Now you may have noticed that a lot of people that take alcohol a lot have protruded tummy for men, for example, pot belly. For a good number of them, I didn't say all, for a number of them. So you have it that it's calorie taking over the fat cells, moving away some nutrients that are very important. Calories that are attached with very important one. Now that is just talking about the intake of alcohol. Now how about the digestion or absorption of it? Now when you have to absorb calories, there are certain ingredients in alcohol that disturb the linings of the small intestine. Now, where does magnesium absorption work? Now, please, if you've not looked at the previous video, please go and so that you understand deficiency symptoms. We talked about absorption occurring in the small intestine. Certain ingredients in alcohol affect the linings of the small intestine, therefore making it difficult to absorb certain nutrients into the body. So this alcohol plays this bad role in absorption of certain minerals and especially, or for example, magnesium that is useful for the body and other nutrients, not just this. Now, the other part is excretion of it. Now, in the removal of excess water or fluid in the body through urination. Now, alcohol is actually excreted via the kidney. So, apart from the fact that it belabors the kidney, it also causes the removal of excess urine. In the process of removing excess fluid by urine, you're also removing good magnesium and other minerals from the body. So, having taken a lot of alcohol, which is fluid, the body can't keep them. So you need to take them away. So the process of removing that excess alcohol in the body, you're also taking away useful nutrients. Now that's where water is good. You take just water, you're okay, you're fine, and water is absorbed. Excess water will be taken away. But the problem also with alcohol is that it affects the linings, other dangerous things. Now there's one I've not mentioned here, which is actually, let me add it, which is the liver. One of the functions of the liver is detoxification. Alcohol comes in that way. It becomes like a toxin to the body. So in the process of detoxifying alcohol, it's also affecting and having a bad impact on the liver. Now do not forget, another part to it is that liver also plays a role in the production of insulin, in which case magnesium is also important in the production of insulin for the digestion of carbohydrates. It's quite long. I hope I'm able to finish this up and so that the video is not so long. I'll try to go fast. Now let's leave this. You want to go back to previous video, please like and share. If you gain value from these things, please like and share. This is nutrition. It's good for animals. It's good for humans. Now I try to touch both the animal parts and also with human parts. Now look here, prolonged diarrhea. This is another thing that's also linked with alcoholism or just generally. Now what is diarrhea? Diarrhea is removing excess fluid watery fluid, watery stool from through the anus. So in the process of having stool that is so loose and watery, we're also removing water, also removing certain nutrients, including magnesium, that is useful for the body. So these are the causes of low magnesium, hypomagnesia in the body. And then diuretic use. What are diuretics? Diuretics are certain drugs that are prescribed for people who have ailments like high blood pressure, hypertension, in order to remove excess salt. Now remember, people with high blood pressure, you're asked to reduce your salt intake. Now when there's excess salt in the body and water, the fluid excess, so diuretic drugs, diuretics are certain drugs that help induces the body, for example the kidney itself, to take out excess. So in the process of inducing the kidney to take out excess water, excess salt, is also losing magnesium. Now remember that magnesium itself is magnesium from salt, the magnesium salt. So while people use diuretic, people trying to manage health problems, hypertension, are also taking diuretics, losing magnesium from the body. Now one of the best things is this: let your good food be your drugs and let your drug be your food. So if you eat well, live lifestyle that is just stay away from lifestyle that is not healthy, you're going to be healthy. Now another cause of hypomagnesemia is certain diseases. We just mentioned hypertension and the others. Now let's go quickly into this because of time. The video is about to be very lengthy. Now, what are the real symptoms? Because the crux of what we're doing today is actually the deficiency symptoms of magnesium. Now, what are the early signs? Early signs, loss of appetite. Of course, still going back to alcoholism. Alcohol, like I said, hardens also the stomach walls, so it's not able to expand. Now, if you check properly, most people that take alcohol a lot, protruded pot belly, right? But more often than not, they don't eat much because the bad calories take over the space where good food can come in. And also, apart from that hardening of the stomach walls, it can't expand. So that is where you see, because they are not taking enough good nutritious food, means they are deficient. They are going to be robbing themselves of other nutrients, including magnesium. Another early sign of symptoms of this is nausea. Nausea is a feeling of vomiting, and vomiting is the actual vomiting, actual expelling of food or fluid that is not digested. So nausea is the feeling of vomiting, and actually the vomiting itself. So vomiting is a symptom, can be a symptom of magnesium in the body, that is less magnesium in the body. Now look at fatigue, when the person begins to get tired. Now why is it linked to the function of it? I said magnesium in the previous video. Please again check the previous video, watch it, like, comment, share please. We said magnesium is effective in energy metabolism, that is in the release of ATP, which is the currency in which the body understands energy. So once you have shortage of magnesium in the body, it's going to affect release of energy, synthesis of ATP, and then the release of it. So what that means now is that the person becomes fatigued and weak. Now, apart from the early signs, you begin to find advanced signs from the early. You begin to see muscle cramp. Why? Now, magnesium is actually, now we talked about the first, we talked about this, the historical part in the previous class. Again, check the previous video. I said that magnesium is found 60% of the magnesium in the body is found in the muscles. The other part is actually will not be found in soft tissues, and 60% is found in the bones, that is the skeleton. The other part is found is usually in the soft tissues and muscles. Now, when you do not have enough magnesium in the muscles, it causes muscle cramp. Part of what it causes muscle cramp, especially linking with anaerobic respiration. Now, look at tremor. Tremor means when the group of muscles attached to the bones are actually going involuntary, walking without the control of the person or the animal. So there's a tremor, shaking of the hand. It could be shaking of the head or the hand or the legs, whichever parts of the body. So when there's magnesium deficiency, magnesium, remember, is important for healthy bones and muscles. So when the muscles and the bones are deficient of magnesium, tremor can happen, shaking can happen, seizures can happen. You want to do something, seizing your hand, seizing the leg. So cramps, stretches. Now then numbness. What is numbness? When you can't feel pain. For example, now a place is numb, you hit it. Normally you should get nervous impulse sending signals. So this is also one of the functions of magnesium, sending nervous impulses, receiving impulses, sending to the brain. But because it is low, you're not able to feel it. It's numbness. The parts of the body become numb. You're not able to feel impulses as you ought to feel. Then also there is abnormal heart rhythm. What is rhythm? The rhythm refers to the pattern and the speed with which the heart beats. The heart is supposed to beat like 60 to 100 times its range when the body is at rest, when the person is at rest, within per minute. So in 1 minute, you should be able to read 60 to 100 times normally at rest. Now, when magnesium is failing, you begin to have an abnormal rhythm of the heart. The pattern of the beating changes. Then abnormal personality changes. Of course, when these things occur, the person is no longer who you know the person to be. Now let's look at chronic low content of when it's chronically low. What is chronic? Chronic means long and elongated something, ailment or whatever. So when magnesium is chronically low, there's an increased risk of osteoporosis, removal or gradual removal, removal of calcium or even magnesium from the bones. The bone becomes weak and it's not strong, so the person cannot stand. Now remember, it takes us again to the functions of magnesium. Magnesium is essential for healthy bones. So when the bone is not healthy, it causes when magnesium is deficient, osteoporosis, osteomalacia can occur. Now then, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases. Hypertension means hypertension when the blood is being pumped against it, pushing hard against the walls of the blood vessels. Now, what's the cause of it? Several reasons. A number of reasons causes hypertension. Alcohol again comes in. The bad calorie of alcohol blocks the blood vessel, and also consumption of food with healthy fats like cholesterol. It blocks the blood vessels. The blood vessels are narrowed, so the heart will have to pump hard for it to push blood. So that's the hypertension. The tension of the pushing of the blood is high, so it becomes, and because this is necessary for the soft tissues, magnesium soft tissues, and the maintaining cardiovascular speed, it affects causing hypertension when magnesium is not available enough in the blood. It also causes type 2 diabetes, and also cardiovascular diseases. Cardiovascular disease, hypertension is one of them. Cardiovascular diseases refer to diseases that affect the brain, the heart, the artery, the veins, the other blood vessels, arterioles, and the others. Thank you so much. The video is already lengthy. I hope you learned a lot from this. Please, if you learned, please share the video, like, subscribe, and tell someone something good is happening here. Let's see the next video. Bye-bye. Thanks.